Captain Vex of the Galactic Confederation vessel Horizon had never encountered humans before. The species was relatively new to interstellar travel, barely 3 decades into their cosmic adventure. Yet rumors spread quickly throughout the void. Humans were different. "Sir, the human delegation is requesting permission to board," said First Officer Trill, antenna twitching with nervous energy. Vex's 4 eyes blinked in sequence. "Grant permission, and remind the crew of protocol." The protocol was simple: avoid direct eye contact with humans. Their peculiar biology made sustained visual connection uncomfortable for most species. Something about their unwavering gaze triggered fight or flight responses across dozens of sentient races. When the airlock cycled open, 3 humans entered the command deck. They wore simple blue uniforms with a patch depicting their homeworld, a blue and green marble that seemed unremarkable except for the species it had produced. "Captain Vex," said the lead human, a tall female with short brown fur on her head. "I'm Captain Miller of the Earth Alliance. These are my officers, Bell and Rodriguez." Vex inclined his head respectfully, keeping his gaze fixed on the space just above Miller's left shoulder. "Welcome aboard the Horizon *. We're honored to." Miller stepped forward, her eyes locking onto his primary set. "Captain, I'd prefer if you looked at me when we speak." The command center fell silent. Several crew members shifted uncomfortably at their stations. Of course. Vex managed, forcing himself to meet her gaze. The discomfort was immediate, an evolutionary warning signal screaming danger. Human eyes didn't shift or blink appropriately. They held contact, unwavering and intense, as if trying to see past physical barriers and into the soul itself. Miller smiled, which somehow made it worse. "Thank you. Now shall we discuss the Krell incursion into your territory?" The Krell, a warrior race from the Outer Rim, expanding aggressively for the past cycle. The Confederation had lost 3 outposts already with minimal resistance. "Yes," Vex said, still struggling with the direct eye contact. "Though I'm unsure how Earth plans to assist. The Krell fleet outnumbers ours 5-1. Miller nodded. "Numbers aren't everything, Captain. We've analyzed their attack patterns and found exploitable weaknesses." As the meeting progressed in the strategy room, Vex observed the humans with growing fascination. They maintained eye contact, not just with him, but with every officer who spoke. Even more unsettling, they seemed to communicate silently among themselves through subtle facial expressions: a raised eyebrow, a quick nod, a slight frown. "The Krell avoid direct engagement," explained Officer Bell, displaying tactical simulations. "They prefer intimidation. Their ships are impressive but untested in prolonged combat." "How do you propose we exploit this?" asked Trill, carefully avoiding Bell's gaze. "We stare them down," Rodriguez said simply. "Excuse me?" Vex blinked all 4 eyes simultaneously. Miller leaned forward. "The Krell have never faced humans in combat. They don't know that we don't scare easily. In fact, when threatened, humans have a tendency to respond with aggression rather than retreat." "You're suggesting we intimidate the intimidators?" Vex couldn't hide his skepticism. "Precisely," Miller said. "But we need your help. Your long-range sensors can detect their fleet movements. Our ships are faster and more maneuverable, but fewer in number." 2 days later, the plan was in motion. The human vessels, only 7 ships compared to the Confederation's 23, took point position as the Krell fleet approached the Novan system. From the Horizon's bridge, Vex watched the tactical display with mounting anxiety. They're not slowing down. The Krell fleet maintains attack vector. Miller stood beside him, unnervingly calm. "It will. Wait for it." The human vessels suddenly accelerated, not away from the Krell armada, but directly toward it. "What are they doing?" gasped Trill. "They're outnumbered 30-7. Vex couldn't answer. The human tactic defied all logic, all self-preservation instinct. The 7 ships formed a perfect arrowhead formation and continued their suicidal charge. Then, impossibly, the Krell fleet began to slow. "Incoming transmission," announced the communications officer from the Krell command ship. The main screen flickered to life, revealing a Krell war leader, scaled and fierce. Confederation vessel, it growled. Identify the unknown ships. Before Vex could respond, Miller stepped forward. This is Captain Miller of Earth. Those are human ships. We're here. And we're staring you down. The Krell commander visibly recoiled at Miller's direct gaze. What is the meaning of this provocation? Not provocation, promise. Miller's voice remained steady. You will withdraw from Confederation space immediately, or we will demonstrate exactly why you should fear looking humans in the eye. The transmission cut abruptly. For several agonizing minutes, nothing happened. Then, incredibly, the Krell fleet began to turn. There, retreating, Trill whispered in disbelief. Miller turned to Vex, that strange human smile playing across her face again. Sometimes, Captain, the most powerful weapon isn't technology or numbers. It's the willingness to stand your ground and not look away. Later, as the human delegation prepared to depart, Vex found himself able to maintain eye contact with Miller for nearly 10 seconds, a personal record. How do you do it? He asked. How do humans maintain such intensity? Miller considered this. We evolved as predators on a dangerous world, Captain, but we also evolved as a social species that needed to trust one another. Eyes are windows. They tell us who's a friend and who's a threat. She extended her hand, another curious human custom. And today, I hope we've shown which one we are to you. Vex took her hand, still marveling at the species that had changed the balance of power through nothing more than their unflinching gaze. As the humans departed, word spread quickly throughout the Confederation. Humans were here, and when they stared you down, even the mighty Krell blinked first.